Only 3 players remain, and soon only 2 for the finals of the MLG Winter Championship. I'm DJ Wheat.
And I'm Day 9, and it is time for the Losers Bracket Finals between MVP Dongray Gu and Complexity's Heart.
I mean, honestly, DRG is a big story because he could duplicate what happened at MLG Arena, but the fact that Heart came in here out of the open bracket into the championship pools, 5-0'd it, and then is sitting here versus arguably one of the best Zergs, if not the best in the world. That shows a lot, and I'm really excited to watch this matchup actually go down.
The first map going to be on Entombed Valley. It will be a best of 3 between these players for that grand final. It's going to be a best of 5 and a best of 9 if it gets to extended series. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the second to last matchup of the day. A Terran vs. Zerg beginning on a small, aggressive map.
In the southeast corner, as the red Zerg, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the best Zerg in the world, MVP DRG!
In the top left, coming out of seemingly nowhere, emerging from the open bracket, 5-0ing his group, knocking out fan favorite after fan favorite, the mystery man who has demonstrated an incredible level of skill. It is Complexity's Heart.
Now, Sean, there's actually one more shout out, one more crowd cheer that we have to give here. And while we're in these opening moments of this game, I think it's only appropriate because this MLG, we saw some absolutely incredible play out of all of the Protosses that represented that race. So although there are none left standing and we have a pause, let's give it up for all the Protosses throughout this competition.
And DRG apparently even pausing the game for a moment of silence. A Terran OP in the bottom left. Wow.
Yes, a moment of silence for the Protoss. And guys, it's been a great weekend. Thanks for those who have joined us throughout the entire competition. Of course, everyone here at the venue in Columbus, Ohio, and also everyone at home. We appreciate it, and everyone has just been absolutely fantastic. The crowd has been amazing. Got a chance to watch some of the other games here at MLG as well. Went over and saw a little bit of Mortal Kombat, which was certainly getting hyped. That was Halo. It's not because the game paused back in. Halo really coming and representing, and frankly, you know, StarCraft 2 crowds, they showed Halo really how to represent a game, and they are really showing it up over there.
And on the caliber of gameplay from everyone across the board has been astounding. A lot of big stories. I mean, perhaps the biggest one that was not broadcast is the German player Saka, who knocked out 3 Koreans in his open bracket run, knocking down Is Crazy Moving, EG's Puma, and the STC to manage to get all the way to that top, I believe, top 12 placing. He was the highest foreigner after Huck and Naniwa.
He is undoubtedly the one foreigner that people don't talk enough about, but should. And you know, I mean, even looking across Twitter and across a lot of the social networks, Reddit, etc., you really do see that people were like, you know, look at this amazing run by Sake, absolutely incredible. And I think that maybe that will help, you know, up his status a little bit because he's really solid and incredible player.
And it's also incredible to think of the names that you see so regularly at MLG dropping out because the caliber of play was so huge. Pult, who's been dominating in foreign tournaments, falling in the round of 16. Players like Liquid Ret managed to get a decent placing in his group, but still ended up falling, I believe, to a Terran player. I can't remember which one it was, but I mean, Thorzane as well. Not being able to get as far. Ganji, who placed, I believe, in the top, I know top 8, but it may have even been top 6 at the MLG Winter Arena, and all of them are now out.
Yeah, and we did have a very similar ranking as to what we did have at the MLG Winter Arena, showing a lot of consistency right now in at least the MLG events, and it sounds like they are both ready, so we're going to be hopping into this. And as I look through, keep in mind that Hart also beat Maro Anori as well on his way just to the championship pools. And, you know, Hart certainly came in here, and I guarantee you that there were probably not a whole lot of people that were saying Hart is someone that I expect to be in the final 3.
Yeah, I mean, Hart, even if you're wishing, oh, I wish this player, that player, my favorite was managing to get into the top 3. You have to keep in mind the players who are behind him. Of the 20 Koreans who are at this tournament, he is past 16 of them, 17 of them even.
Yes. I mean, just those results alone, you don't really get to this stage of the game and it be a fluke. You know, you obviously have to have the skills to make it through, especially the fact that he went through the various stages of MLG Winter Championship, not just being put into the championship pool because of his ranking from Arena, but having to fight all the way through. And although some of those opening rounds may not have been as difficult as obviously facing a Moro or an Inori, it certainly is you know, still a tough thing to do. A lot of games that he played over the course of a weekend. But let's get in and let's maybe chat about this game a little bit.
Looks like Complexity's Heart is going to be opening up with a gas-focused build. Would not be surprised to see him do a faster Banshee opening. But then again, I think the most common expectation is that he will be going for a very, very swift factory. Very normal thing to do, get that reactor on. And oh my gosh, I can't believe that this somehow did not dawn upon me. It's an extended series, Marcus.
This one is?
Yeah, DRG knocked down Hart in the semifinals. We casted it as our first match today.
Of course.
I had these phantom memories that came back to me all of a sudden.
I thought we were all prepared for this, Sean, but apparently we still got some work to do. But that's okay. That just means the potential for several more games, as well as, keep in mind, if DRG takes it into the grand final versus Marine King Prime, not only do we see a repeat from MLG Winter Arena, which I don't need to tell you that those games were amazing because I think you were watching them, but also it would go into that best of 9 extended series.
And there it looks like the command center going down. If you review back to those 2 games we casted earlier in the semifinal, Hart opened with the 2 racks play in those games, transitioning into 3. Command center narrowly losing a game on Metalopolis, fairly one-sidedly losing a game on Shakura's Plateau, and now here he's going for something standard, but also something we haven't seen. Look at this, the mule being torn off the main mineral line. I mean, in reality, though you ordinarily can get 270 minerals out of a mule, sometimes it runs out of juice on the way back. So in order to save that extra bit of 30 minerals, you just pull that mule right off. It's a very high level technique.
Like it. So we've got this first Zerglings out on the field, scouting around the map. One Zergling actually about to run in these 2 Marines over on the side, so he is aware at least of what is out on the field right now for Hart. DRG with a spine crawler at his front and several queens. You see that already starting to spread that creep. And this is something that we've seen from DRG and a lot of Zergs as of late, using the queens and a number of them, obviously, to deflect this, having lost no additional larvae to drone or to Zerglings that then are made into drones. And this type of style is getting really, really popular. Of course, that means that Terrans are liking to abuse that a little bit more. But even with these 4 Hellions here, I feel like DRG is in the place he wants to be in order to defend this.
Both players playing fantastically. A DRG already throwing down a macro hatch before gas, awesome play. At the same time, we see Hart doing his usual aggressive opening into 3 base. Last few games, he did 2 racks into a 3 command center play. Here, he's going double Hellion Banshee into a 3 base play. But in this particular circumstance, I'm worried for Hart because there's a huge distance between Hellions and Banshees versus Marine tanks, which is where Hart wants to end up eventually. So it's going to be a very fragile juncture that DRG can exploit with a nice timing window.
Now we've got the Hellions obviously surveying the front of the base, but let's take a look at what's going on inside of Hart's base, because he's going to throw down that 3rd command center. Definitely indicative of what he sees, knowing that, well, there's not a whole lot of units, right? He's defending with these queens. I see the 2nd spine crawler even. Actually, I need to double check because I'm not sure he did see that. No, he did not even see the first one. But he knows what's there with the queen. So poking forward, also expecting DRG to take this a little bit further. The lair is been started, so it is going down, but he can probably safely at least get that 3rd up if he wants to.
A very cool play by Hart, following up with a Viking. That way he can pick off the Overlords, continue to try to get as much map control as humanly possible. However, the non-cloaked Banshee floating at the left side of DRG's base is just not going to do that much, Marcus. There's too many queens out on the field, 4 right now. The creep spread is going to be magnificent. We also see that there is the Spore Crawler going down at the natural expansion. The Spore Crawler going down in the main DRG is more than defended for any push.
Yeah, in fact, 2 queens responding almost almost immediately, the moment that it's seen on the creep, and it will have to move itself back. Of course, all of the overlords here for good vision as well. And inside at the front, Cole Hart with his double engineering bay as his wall as well. Really, really fantastic as his +1, both weapon and armors going up right now with 2 more racks. So definitely keeping this very bio-focused as he's got a little bit, or he's just got his Hellions out front and then a few Marines here. He's landed his 3rd now, getting that up, and it was
brave.
fast, yeah. No vision of this yet for DRG.
A nice little Viking down in the south position doing some good hunting. Looks like Zergling's going through the middle of the map. Oh no, Hearts, Hellions, get demolished. Excellent play by DRG. And you know what? I'm not going to lie, Marcus. I am a little bit worried about Hart in this circumstance. Because he is doing, there's the Zergling from DRG, spots the 3rd. You know, the classic way Koreans play on the Korean server.
The immediate lift, by the way.
It's insta-lift, just abandoning these 2 poor SCVs there, as they do get chomped to bits, Starship Trooper style.
Losing the Hellions is huge, right? I mean, not being able to control space there, letting those Zerglings get past that, even though he probably would have sent a scout in, instantly he had to give up that position on the 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, the classic way that Terrans play on the Korean server is to get double upgrades started very, very, very early. That way, the Terran player relies pretty much on 3-3 Marines and is going for late game as much as possible. However, Hart went Banshee and Viking and Hellions, and if you go to the unit count, he has 16 Marines. He has almost no units, so suddenly Hart is going to be defensive for a long time. This is that dangerous juncture we were talking about earlier, and there comes the Mutas from DRG, ready to exploit.
Yeah, okay, there's the Baneling nest. There he starts his Baneling speed, so wondering a little bit about that, as he did see only Marines at the front. Now, there's a very small force moving out, and with the presence of Mutas on the map, while the Mutas have to be very careful about the Marines, no drops are pretty much going to be able to happen. And look at this, already going to be able to pick off a Banshee and take no damage at all, just a little bit of hit points coming off of those Mutas. They can head over, potentially hit that 3rd command center, which is actually trying to land once again, but these Marines have to react, and as you mentioned, Cole Hart is being defensive and will have to remain defensive for a while.
One Muta gets picked off, and look at this, the destructible rocks between Terran's base has not even been knocked down yet. Meanwhile, DRG taking a 4th, 3rd up and running, 77 drones out thanks largely to that early macro hatch. 1-1 coming out for Muta's armor and attack for the Zerglings, looking so slick. There the infestation pitfalls, and DRG looking very good, even with this drop from Hart ready to pick at the 4th.
Yeah, actually, he looks like he's going to fly into the 3rd, where a bunch of spine crawlers are actually making their way over. But inside, there is also that 4th going down, and that's a good target to choose, as he's going to force a cancel there. The Muta's still poking away at the base, but it looks like they're going to come back. Not going to be able to, obviously, save that expansion, but moving back, potentially killing the dropship if it's loaded up, and the Zerglings might take this on them.
And there, looks like DRG with the usual nice control gobbles up the medevac. In the meantime, we do see 2-2 beginning for Hart. He's getting ready to make the push and is looking somewhat like Polt in this regard. He has not that many medevacs and primarily a big ground army. And the Mutalisks at the left side, that's exactly where Hart wants them to be, but I think a little bit too passive of a choice there to pull back.
Well, he does have a few Marines here at the front. Only 1 missile turret here, and here come the Lings. Oh my God, he's down! He walks right into the base, and a ton of Marines from the back. And I cannot believe that he was able to get in there, that he let up, but it was almost a trap. And then over in the corner, the Mutas will go down as well. And actually, what looked like it was going to be
for Hart.
Exactly.
Yeah, he saw those Zerglings, said, "Come right on up. I'm going to hit you from the back." If he lifted off, he would not have been able to pick off all those Zerglings. Does DRG care? I don't think he does, Marcus, because he has like 50,000 larvae popping out every second. If you go to the main, those queens so low on energy at the 15-minute mark, continuing to do those larvae inject very nicely. Mutal sweeping into the 3rd, but it looks like Hart again has an answer.
And he might do the exact same thing if he draws these units in with the Mutas. He can attack from the back with the Zerglings and the Banelings. And here he is going to go ahead and retreat back just a little bit. Of course, fighting on the creep would be optimal. But I thought with the elimination of those SCVs that were building those 2 supply depots right there that he might actually go for it. And we could see it yet again.
Oh, it's a drop down at the 4th, and it looks like he's unloading. DRG's going to let this hatch finish, and there are no units nearby for DRG to deal with it. And there's the perfect timing by Hart. Absolutely perfect. He's going to be able to pick off that hatch unless DRG Zerglings has something to say about it.
And the Zerglings are going to go ahead and take this down. Oh no, there's the load up. And he's going to walk right into the main. Of course, the Mutas had to return there. They're in the middle of the map, so they didn't come all the way back. And he's going to, again, have to rotate this army back in the main as he continues. More and more Banelings being morphed. You know, at this point in time, I would love to have seen some Burrow, but no burrowed Banelings at all. He's going to, you know, we're going to have a big battle.
For Hart. Looks like he may be starting 3-3 soon, spreading out. Amazing scans, picking everything off. This is a genius lightning push by Hart, but the Baneling numbers huge, rolling up. Can he get back to the tanks in time? He's spreading to where there's no creep. Some huge hits land down. Hart continuing to spread out. And holy splitting, Hart did an amazing job dealing with that huge swell of Banelings. The tank fall, but Marcus looked down at the natural of MVP DRG. We see another 21 Banelings about to finish up as Hart sprints to the 4th.
Yeah, and here we go. The Mutas need to come in, bait these units out, and then get the hit with the Banelings. There's not as many tanks. None of them are sieged up. Here the Banelings start to roll. They hit the Marines from the back, and he will manage to eliminate this force here, even as the Zerglings run in to assist. He was able to make it now.
Oh, Mutas! Oh no! Flying over Marines! Oh no, DRG!
So many Mutas lost there, down to only a count of 7, and it's the reinforcements here as a Thor joins the party, a second Thor marching right behind it, and he cannot engage with this guy. He's got to get perfect Baneling hits. He will get a surround.
No medevacs, no medevacs. The Marines have to continue to run. The Thor is doing incredible damage. The Mutalist numbers continue to clean up. Complexity Hart, who looks so flimsy to DRG in Game 1 and 2 of their extended series, looking terrifying in Game 3.
Yeah, he's got a 4th up now. It's just landed. It's morphing into a planetary as we speak. The creep is starting to subside a little bit and be sucked back into DRG's side of the map. He's got a lot of Lings out, a few Mutas, but looking at the counting station, keeping those numbers up for the Mutas is so important in this particular matchup. If he just resorts to going Ling and Baneling, he's going to have a hard time. So here we have the first Ultralisk being made, the chitinous plating on the way as well, and he has now been put into a defensive position.
I mean, we have to talk about the lightning push that Hart does. If you have 2 components to your army, the Mutas and the Lings, and oh, it looks like DRG is starting to move forward. There's a lot of Marines there, and ooh, Hart will force him back. Gosh, that's really nerve-wracking dancing from both sides. But there's 2 components to armies, the Mutas and the Lings. If you see where the Mutas are and you drop and see the Lings pull back, there's nothing to stand in your way of stepping into the middle. That's what Hart did with that previous drop. At the 4th expansion, he saw all the Lings and Banelings arrive and knew that center was clear, no need to be slow, and another drop from Hart is going to try to catch DRG off position.
Oh, there's a couple of Infestors moving in here right away. Wait for the other. Oh, there's the Fungal and the Baneling hit. And the Chain Fungal will keep these alive. He's going to drop out a couple infested Terrans. Meanwhile, we got a Zergling attack here as the Planetary Fortress finishes. He's trying to take out this 4th. Oh no, Cole Hart's just going to push.
Cole Hart pushing through the center, Ultralisk popping out, more Banelings trying to be built for DRG, and this is looking very much like Complexity Hart versus DRG versus Marine King Prime. DRG on the constant defensive, the Banelings about to finish up, and Hart is on creep. There are no tanks in sight.
Oh my gosh, here these sieged up inside. Now the first Ultras come out, huge Fungal Baneling hits, but now the Thors have to be dealt with. One about ready to go down, the Zerglings start to funnel in. There are some reinforcements coming down from Hart's base, but can he effectively deal with this? Is he going to pick up these Thors? He's just going to let them die as more bio moves in. 2 Thors remain alive, the tanks continue to come in, and quite frankly, where's the unit production?
DRG broke down to 55 minerals. Hart continuing to stream units across. 3-3 finishing up. Siege tanks barreling down on the 4th expansion. We saw Hart play a little cheesy in the first 2 games. In Game 3, solid through and through. The Manor Mule! Hart knows he has Game 1.
To take first Game 1, that is a big deal, especially in the situation that we're in.
GG! Good game. DRG looking very mortal in this matchup. He has lost subsequently. Marine King Prime first, Hart next, but he's still ahead in the extended series.
that would, of course, be the first step in this extended series of DRG starting at 2-0. And the way that works is the first of 4 then is the winner. DRG having to win 2 games, obviously in a phenomenal position, but Hart coming out and saying, boom, I am here. I'm not going to let this affect me, the fact that I'm in an extended series situation. And the biggest disadvantage that that Hart has right now is that DRG gets a map pick with every single loss that he suffers.